Hi, this is James, and welcome back to Storytime with James. I'm reporting this from the Randolph, so hey, from the library. Okay, make sure you like, subscribe, and leave me a comment if you like. And if you would, please bless my cash app so I can purchase acrylic paint, masking tape, and paintbrushes. It's just that simple. All right, this is a rebroadcast. This is a rebroadcast of an old one that I did. And it's called The Curse of the Little Rascals. Okay? Man, the Little Rascals was a good show. It was real good. It was little shorts and stuff like that. So, The Curse of the Little Rascals. Check it out. Story time. This story time is called The Curse of the Little Rascals. Yeah, I don't know if any of you heard of the Little Rascals or our game. It was it was a very well put together little shorts. They were short films. They were put together well, but it was old in a mug. It was old. It was old. But they were funny. They were funny. There was 176 rascals in all in the whole series for 221 films that they did. So it was 221 films. I was fortunate to have all the films before. I had them on DVD. But unfortunately somebody stole them. You know, some people never even heard of it. So I don't know who got it, but hey, I pretty much know who got it. But I don't know. I didn't see them and I didn't know, and they wasn't the only ones around. So I can't accuse somebody like that, So I get another one day. It was a box set. It was all of the Little Rascals, all of it, all 221 of them. Okay, the there was there's only I think it's only one still alive now. One of the Little Rascals is still alive, and that's Robert Blake, Beretta. Don't do the crime if you can't do the time. Yeah. Don't do it. Yes. Yeah, Beretta. I vaguely remember Beretta, but I remember it. Uh, I don't think I remember. Well, I don't know. I remember seeing Beretta. It was a long time ago. I was a shouty then, but yeah, Robert Blake was one of the rascals. His name was Mickey something, but he wasn't the only Mickey on there. There was another one. There was Mickey Daniels too. So yeah, and Jackie Cooper played on a lot of movies and stuff. So those were the only two that survived out of 170 something of the Little Rascals. They all they said that it was a curse on them. But look at when they came out. They started the Rascals in 1922, okay? And they ended the Rascals in 1944. So in those times back then, it was hard to live, especially during the Great Depression. It was hard to live. Okay? So they had it was terrible. Now, they had 3 black ones on there, black little kids on the Little Rascals. There was Buckwheat, Stymie, no, 4. Buckwheat, Sunshine Sammy, Stymie, and Farina. Now, Farina was the only one to make $350 a week. The rest of the Little Rascals made $100 a week. For real. Can you imagine that? Getting paid $100 a week? But Farina was the only black actor on the Little Rascals who got $350 a week. That's crazy. But tragically, he died of cancer. Farina died of cancer. He was 59 years old. 59. He lived a while. He lived a while, you know. Then there was Alfalfa. Alfalfa was the one with the little thing on his head. That little thing sticking up. Learn to crow your whisper, boom, 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 boom. Yeah, he used to always sing off beat and stuff like that, off timing. And his voice was, you know, I guess his voice was changing, you know. Yeah, Alfalfa, he was the star, like one of the stars of the show. It was Alfalfa, it was Spanky, and Darla, and Buckwheat. Those were all stars, but Alfalfa was the main one. And it showed too, because he got cocky. He got cocky. He was cocky on the set. He would tell them what he ain't gonna do, and then he'd sit there with his arms folded and then run around just tearing things up and everything like that. He lived that life his whole life, you know. When he got older, they did he was in that movie It's a Wonderful Life. Okay? He was in It's a Wonderful Life in the beginning of it, when they were dancing, you know, out there dancing. And the floor opened up and the pool was there and they fell in the pool. Alfalfa was in that movie. Yeah. But shortly after that, that had to be, so whenever they made It's a Wonderful Life, I guess they made that in the 30s or something. No, it wasn't 30s. It was in the 40s. 40 something or 50 something. They made that, and look, Alfalfa started Alfalfa started training dogs, hunting dogs to hunt bears and stuff, you know, deers and stuff like that. So he claimed that this guy had lost his dog and he wanted $50 for the dog. So the guy ain't paid up. He ain't paid up. So Alfalfa went to his crib and started threatening him. And the guy said, "Hey man, I shouldn't have to pay you $50 for him, man, when the dog ran away." You know. So Alfalfa stole on him and they started fighting. So the guy broke away. I guess Alfalfa was getting the best of him. Because Alfalfa was something with himself. He would start something in a minute. And he was alcoholic and everything, you know. So the guy got up and went in the bedroom. That's a no-no. Alfalfa shouldn't have let him go to the bedroom. He went in the bedroom and he came out with a 38. He came out with a 38 and told Alfalfa he's going to blow his brains out. He told him this. What you think Alfalfa did? Alfalfa pulled out a knife and went towards the guy, and the guy blew him away. Shot him in the chest. And Alfalfa bled bled out before the ambulance got there. It's terrible. Now, Wheeze, no, not Weezer, Froggy. Froggy had that voice, that Popeye, blah, 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 you know, like Popeye. Froggy, he was a character. He came in later than he came in around the late 30s, 40. Froggy came in, and Froggy had a funny voice. With just his voice, he was getting a lot of praise for his voice. He sounded like Popeye. You know, like that. You know, like that. So Froggy, he kind of outgrowed. You know, he outgrowed. You know, they started growing. The Little Rascals started growing. He wasn't Little Rascals no more. You know, so he ended up getting little odd jobs, and stuff like that. So he ended up getting a paper route. That's back when they were delivering papers, you know. So he got a paper route. So him and a friend was on the back of his scooter. He had an electric scooter. No, it wasn't electric. It was gas scooter. So they were bopping along down the street, and then this truck hit him. Bang! Hit him. His friend got away up unscathed. He had minor bruises and stuff on him, but that was it for Froggy. He was gone. It's terrible. Now, Darla. Well, I think Froggy was 16 years old when he died. So that's tragedy. That's tragedy. Now, Darla was the little girl on there. She mostly liked Alfalfa. Then sometimes she liked Spanky. She was a flirt. But she kind of reminded me of Shirley Temple. Y'all probably don't remember Shirley Temple, but look, Shirley Temple auditioned for a part in The Little Rascals. You know what? They turned her down. They didn't even hire her. And Mickey Rooney. You probably don't know Mickey Rooney either. I think he played in this thing called Boys Town or something like that. But Mickey Rooney was a good actor. I would have thought he would have been on The Little Rascals, but they didn't want him either. They came out to be really big stars. Mickey Rooney and Shirley Temple. But they were both denied from the Our Gang Little Rascal saga. Okay, next was Darla. Darla, when she got older, she did some dancing, and she did some little parts in movies and stuff like that. But she was getting ready to prepare a reunion, a Little Rascals reunion. And she got her side was she was in pain. So she went to the doctor and found out that she had acute appendicitis. Okay? From the appendicitis, they went in and took her appendix out. But inadvertently, when they took her appendix out, they ended up giving her a transfusion, a blood transfusion that had hepatitis in there, which she contracted, and she died of heart failure. She was 47 years old. 47. Yep. And who else we got? Chubby. Y'all don't remember. It was a little fat dude on there named Chubby. He stayed on there he came in like right around in the 30s, 1930 something, maybe the late 30s. Chubby came in, and he was pretty good. But he was growing too fast. He was growing too fast. So he got out off the Little Rascals, and he was always overweight. Overweight. So they found out it was a glandular problem. He had problems with his glands and stuff like that. So Chubby uh, was 21 years old when he died from complications of an operation to try to stop his glandular problem. But he ended up dying. That's crazy. There was a guy called Scotty on there too. Scotty, I forget his last name, but Scotty, when he got off the Rascals, he became a straight up alcoholic. Straight up alcoholic. And he was terrible. He was terrible and stuff like that. But he ended up, some guy beat him to death. Some guy beat him. I guess he was drunk and talking crazy. You know how people get. But some guy beat him to death. How old was he? He was Scotty. I don't know how old he was. He was young, pretty young though. But he was an alcoholic. Then there was Mickey Daniels. Little Mickey on there on the Little Rascals. He was pretty good. He wasn't as known as Spanky and Alfalfa and all of them, but he was pretty well known. But he died of alcoholism too. He was an alcoholic. He died of cirrhosis of the liver, and he was age 55. 55. He died of cirrhosis of the liver. And he was homeless too. So this is the curse they were talking about. Everybody it was tragedy for most of them. It was even tragedy for Brotha, Robert Blake. He got locked up for his wife's death. But he got acquitted. He got acquitted right around the time OJ got acquitted. And he did the right thing. He stayed out of the limelight. But Robert Blake, I think he's going to start acting. I think he's going to do another acting thing. His last one. I think he's like 80-something years old. But he still look good. He's still been, keeping in shape and stuff like that. So I guess he did something good, but because he's the last one standing. Now, maybe there was later. The Little Rascals after 1944, those are the only episodes I saw reruns of. But the new Little Rascals, they didn't jump off too good. They didn't sit too well. Not in my book. Well, that's it. Yeah. I got to get that box set again. If you get the opportunity, maybe you can look it up on YouTube. The Our Gang, Little Rascals episodes. I'm sure they'll have it on there. You'll really enjoy it. But, it was like racial stuff back then. That was in Jim Crow era and stuff like that. But those Little Rascals, they all played together. That's the way this world was supposed to be. They played together. The black ones, the ones who were Jewish and everything, they all played together. Even though some of those skits, some of those short films they did, they would twist stuff up in buckwheat's hair and stuff like that, or have him holding a watermelon. Talking about Boy, I sure is hungry. Bucking their eyes and stuff. They had them to do that. But off the scene, when they like off the set, they all played together. Black, white, no matter what they were, they all played together. Yep. Okay. All right. Yes, the Little Rascals. How many of y'all remember that? Y'all remember our gang, Little Rascals? Okay. All right. That's it for story time with James. Make sure you like, subscribe, and leave me a comment if you like. And if you would, hit that bell notification. Hit that bell notification so that you get notified every time I drop another video. And share, share, share. Share my videos with everyone so everyone can get this experience, okay? All right. Peace. Adios. Salamat.